Warning! This episode is a super episode encompassing much mining and crafting to advance the tech tree and make life easier. Hey guys, this is Nathan and welcome back to TechNodeFirmaCraft. So, picking up exactly where we left off in the last episode, I am currently working a little bit more steel down in the blast furnace, and I am reheating the 2 ingots that we made in order to make a steel hammer and chisel. So the reason I want to make the hammer is because we have these guys, the ore piles. So if we take a look at the recipe for this, we can basically take 4 of the rich hematite for, 4 of the rich ores for poor ores, 3 poor ores and 1 regular, okay, 2 regular, or a rich and a poor to make these ore piles. Now these have 100 units each in them. So that is really handy because I'll be able to run then 4 of those through the blast furnace and get 4 ingots instead of 2 out of that. So we are currently working on getting that heated up, and we're working on this. So these have a little bit to go yet, and once we get these completely melted, we'll be in the exact same place as we were. Okay, there we go. So we're going to have to run these through the anvil just like we did before. Not all that big of a deal. So there's the first one. Go ahead and place this one in. We might have, we're going to have to reheat this just a little. And as soon as this drains out, we will have both of them, which is nice. So that's no longer a liquid. We'll go ahead and run this through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bend. 1, 2, 3. And then same thing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't remember what I did here. It was a bend. Punch, punch. Yep. Not exactly the best situation in the world, but I'm going to go ahead and just put that in there and let it reheat. Not that big of a deal. Okay, that did not get hot enough yet. So we're only white at the moment. Let me try throwing a little bit more charcoal in here. See if that helps any. Yeah, because we didn't have enough charcoal. I'm going to actually throw 1 more in there even. And so we have more charcoal than we need to melt these guys. So let's give it a little bit of air. Come over here and we will make a hammer. Oh, I forgot. I have to make 14 of these ingots first and weld them together so that we can make a steel anvil. Oh God, this is going to take a while. Alright, well, I guess I have my work cut out for me. I will see you guys after a little bit. So I just found out something really interesting about this blast furnace, and that is if we can get the iron and flux and charcoal back into this thing in time, we can actually do a continuous run on this stuff. So if we look here, we need a piece of flux and a piece of ore right now. So now we're up to 4, but our temperature is still white. So yeah, that is kind of interesting. I did not realize that we could do that. So I do have a few more pieces of the steel to make yet. I'm up to 3 of the ingots now. So this is not heating up very good right now. I need to give it a little bit more heat on the bellows. But yeah, that's just a little something that's interesting that I've figured out. So this would be a lot easier if the furnace was taller too, of course. So there we go, we're a brilliant white again. So that's going to be filling this guy. And I'm going to have to drop this into the forge now because it got too cold. But yeah, a little bit more of this pig iron to make yet. And I'll be back in a little bit. Well, I now have the 7 double steel ingots that we need to make our anvil. So here we go, steel anvil. We're just going to go ahead and place this right here for now. We'll place in our flux and our wrought iron hammer. And we are waiting on these to cool down. Now what I've found out is you can take these and just momentarily dip them into the water and they cool down enough to solidify. So that's kind of nice. So we're going to start out by running this down into the ingot form. So there we go, steel ingot. And we're still hot enough to work it. So let's go ahead and make a steel hammer. So not quite right, but we're going to shrink, draw, punch. Okay, so just a hammer hit. Shrink, draw, punch. That's pretty easy. And then the other one is ready to go. So there's that. We're going to reheat this one because it is kind of cool already. And we will have the stuff that we need now to make some of our more difficult items, namely the steel hammer and the steel chisel. So there we go, back to yellow white. So let's go ahead and make a chisel head now with this. So it looks like upset punch. Okay, so draw, hammer, hammer, ups, bend? No. So upset, bend, draw, hammer, hammer. Oh, one hammer off. Darn it. Well, we're going to have to reheat this. Well, any way you look at it, I'm going to get this turned into a chisel. And then I will come back and we will look at some of the uses that we have for this steel hammer and the steel chisel. So one thing that we can do with these steel tools is, like I was saying, we can take iron ore and turn it into piles. Now, okay, we have to go 2 on these because they're a 50. But this will make 8 ore piles. So instead of having 4 ingots at a time going in here, we will now, or 2 ingots, we will now have 4 ingots worth. And so there we go, and I just need to throw in a little bit more charcoal. And now this should be ready to go. We can see our ore and stuff is at the correct level. And so, much the same as usual, I will let this do its thing, but I'm going to get more ingots out of it this time. So that is really nice. It's going to make life a lot easier. Now, I am going to want to be replacing this wrought iron pickaxe with a steel one, but I can't do that just yet because I need that steel that I just put in there. Now, another thing that we can do, I am warming up 2 wrought iron ingots right now, because if we take those and turn them into a wrought iron sheet, and then run that with a steel chisel, we can make iron bars. Now these guys can be turned into the animal crate. So if I get up here, right there, it's the animal crate. It just takes a few pieces of planks, 4 iron bars, and the rope that I have, and that will allow me to carry animals on my back. So the next time that I go up here to the north, which will be fairly soon, to get the silver, I'm going to swing out this way and get the sheep wherever they are. Let's go to animals. Right here, I'm going to come up here and grab 1 sheep at a time each time that I go up there. Now, it is a rather inefficient way to get the animals because I have to have my back slot open, so I will only be able to carry as much back as I can carry in my inventory. I won't be able to have my barrel on my back this time. So that kind of sucks, but this is going to take a little while. But the smithing of a steel pickaxe is no different than normal. So this is almost warm. We're at orange right now. But also, I am going to have to grab the crucible out from underneath that here very shortly, and we're going to be melting down this wrought iron anvil so that we can reclaim the 14 iron ingots that are in it. So that will be helpful, but we're not going to be doing that just yet, especially with the steel in here. So let's see here. Where are we at? We're at can work currently. We need to get to can weld. Come on, weld. So I still need to move this guy so that we can make more wrought iron. But I would say the bloomery probably will not get much use anymore, because it won't be long now that we have steel available that we will be making the steel furnace. Now this does take 6 steel plates, so it will take a bit, plus a crucible, and then we need the hammer plus the steel chisel. So that's another place that we need that steel chisel. But yeah, there we go. We are full hot here, so let's go ahead and weld these together, and we will make this into a sheet. Well, that was pretty simple. And then I think we might want to cool this down before we do the next step. So I'm going to pull the coal out of there because we are using an awful lot of coal, but there's our iron bars. So now we will take 4 of these planks. We need our rope. And then with this, we can go like this. There, and the rope, and there we go, our first animal crate. So until we have an animal in there, it's not a problem. But for now, yeah, that's where we're at. So I am going to get these 4 pieces of steel out of here, make a pickaxe, and maybe just, whoops, I don't want to throw magnetite in there, I want to throw charcoal in there. So anyway, look at it. I need to get this steel out of there, and then I need to... Why did that cool down so much? But then I need to get the pickaxes made. I am just about out of iron. Oddly enough, I have just a little bit of iron left, so I'm going to have to do what I can to get some more iron, and then we'll take a look at a few other things, most notably that steel furnace. Well, I have just reached an important level in our cow familiarization, and that is that all 3 of the female cows can now be milked, and 2 of them are pregnant. So we will have a couple of baby calves here very soon, but now what we can do is go ahead and grab ourselves some milk. So every day we will be able to milk these cows now, and that will help to familiarize them even more. So yeah, that is really nice. I'm going to drop this bucket off in here, that way I don't have to worry about that. But I do have my steel pickaxe now. I went ahead and put the other 3 ingots that I got down on the ground here, and I melted down my wrought iron anvil. So I have a fair amount of the wrought iron ingots. We've got 44 of them there now. But I need to go out and get some more iron, because like I was saying, we don't have much. We've got 4 piles. We have 10 of the 50 ores, and then a bunch of these little 10s that are useless. So I've got to go out and get some iron. Now the one that I have just over here, if I change this to ores, this hematite here is really starting to get low. Either that or it's just getting to the point of where I can't find it anymore. But I may go down there and mine for a little bit, see if I can find anything. If not, I'm going to be going off in search of a new vein, preferably a rich vein. So, yep, I've got some stuff to do, and I'll be back after a bit. So I started looking around the map here at the various locations that I have found iron. We had this spot here that I had pretty well mined out, and there's also a spot up here, and I believe I found this one to be poor. There was another spot here. I haven't looked at that one. and then here. But there's not a lot of iron to be found on this map. I guess we have one there. And the rest of this, I don't think there's any iron scattered around here. But there was another one really close to the base right here. Now, this one, I decided I would go to it next because it is so close. And I got down here to where it was located, which, by the way, the reason we have so little iron is because hematite, magnetite, and limonite, the 3 iron ores, do not spawn in schist. So we may have other iron available, but I got down just below the schist layer, we got down into the andesite and rich hematite. So I've already picked up 4 of these, but yeah, we should be able to get tons of iron out of this. So I am really happy about that. So I guess the next thing for me is to do a whole bunch of mining here. I figure I will run out along the top of the andesite layer and try to find how big this hematite deposit is. Once I figure that out, then I'm just going to start going down until I hit the bottom of it. And yeah, hopefully we can get tons and tons of rich hematite. So I guess digging, and I'll be back. So I have been coming back and forth to the base while I've been digging out there so that I could continue to familiarize these cows. And now every time that I do it, I've been collecting milk, and we now have 9 buckets of milk here. So I thought we would grab the quest book here real quick, and we have a quest in here that is for milk. So I believe it's in here, yeah. So, cheese please, got milk? Seriously, got milk? You'll have to make nice with a cow. You can use up to 9 buckets of milk to make some cheese. Just place it in a barrel. In TNFC, you can also bottle your milk. So we need a wooden bucket of milk and a bottle of milk. So I think we can put that bottle back in after we're done. And I should have some bottles. Yeah, I've got quite a few bottles, actually. So what we want to do is come over here and we will grab a bucket and a bottle of milk. And my inventory is a mess. So there's the bottle. So the bottle only holds 1/4 of a bucket. Then we'll grab a bucket. Okay, so these aren't working. Manual detect? No? What is going on there? So this may be one of those that I have to give myself by cheating. I don't like that idea. But anyway, so the next step for this, we take a bucket of vinegar and we place this in here. So now we have a milk vinegar mix. Now what we're going to do is seal this. This will output curdled milk, and you just leave it sealed and eventually it will turn into a wheel of cheese. So that's where we're at with that. Now, part of the reason I came over here is because, as you can see, I am surrounded by fart bubbles and I am out of bread in my food prep. So I need to get in here, bake some bread. So let's see, what have we got for grain? Wheat, barley. I think I'm going to take some wheat. So, you know what? We're just going to deal with the decay. So, what I'm going to do is the same as usual. I am going to grind this wheat up in the quern. Then I'm going to cook it here on the grill. And it's really nice. It's going to give me 2 full 160-ounce loaves of bread. And I'll be able to cook them without splitting it apart, which means I don't have to worry about the decay. So one time through here, we'll need to grab a bucket of water. And actually, we'll need 2 of those. Now let's drop off the lily pad. I know this isn't where all of this stuff goes. It's just getting irritating having all of this junk on me. So there we go, 2 buckets of water. We'll grab our wheat flour. 160 ounces of that plus water should give us 2 160 ounces of wheat dough. And then, same as usual, we're going to drop that in here. grab a little bit of wood, and we will cook this up. No problem. So, yep, I think here in a little bit we should have the cheese, and then I will go ahead and add that into the sandwiches as well as this bread. So once again, I have given myself the OP Edition quest book so that we can complete our cheese quest, because we have some cheese now. So I think for now I am going to actually put the cheese in the number 1 slot here, giving us 3 ounces of cheese per sandwich. But so let's go ahead and get in here. So what we want to do is, same as before, hold shift and click on a quest to automatically complete it. So there we go. So now we will go ahead and do like we did last time and just chuck this thing away, and it will be completed in our regular quest book. So let's go ahead and look at what else we got. So we had cheesy. Once you have your milk, you just need to add a bucket of vinegar, seal it, and let it curdle, and then become cheese. If you are really into taste profiles, you can add food items at the curdled milk stage to change the flavor of the cheese. And I know that we can add things like berries and things like that, but yeah, whatever. We had our cheese. So we get 8 bottles of enchanting. We'll go ahead and grab that. So we're really getting close in this casting age. We still have the loom, the bed, and the energetic coke to do. And that's it. We're getting really close. But anyway you look at it, I want to see what this is going to do to my health. So you can see my dairy is completely down. The other 4 are up pretty high. And we are going to need more than 1 sandwich here. So let's go ahead and eat this first sandwich. Wow, that took our health up 42. And we didn't even add any dairy to our diet. So the second one took us up, and we went up a whole 60 some, gee, many crickets. So yeah, we have a little bit of dairy now. So we will be eating a lot of cheese, trying to get our health up even higher, and that is really going to be beneficial when it comes time to be in fights with mobs. But yeah, we got that. So I think now I'm going to put the quest book back away, and I'm going to head back out to the mine, do some more digging. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little time lapse. Got tons and tons of iron and charcoal now. If we take a look in here, these are all filled with hematite ore piles, and unfortunately this has been changed. Whereas these hematite ore piles used to stack to 64s, they now only stack to 16s. So that kind of stinks, but then also I have a huge amount of charcoal in here. But I have also collected a huge amount of clay, and I've got a few other things that I have a large amount of, and so I want to deal with that and get a little bit better storage than we have currently. So for that I have made a steel saw now that we have steel available, and if we look at the uses on this, we've got a few things here that we can do with it. Most of these can be done with any type of saw until you start getting over into this area. And these are the two things that I want to be looking at. So this first one here is the Java barrel. This is just another better barrel attempt. And we just need 7 logs, a chest, and our steel saw for that. So we have some chests here. I suppose we'll just take these, and then we need some logs. And sycamore, oak, maple, acacia. No, I don't want to take that. That will knock the tools on the floor. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and grab some of these acacia logs. And one really nice thing about these barrels is that these logs can go into them. So now we'll take these, this, and the saw, and there we go. We have a couple of these barrels. Now these come in really handy for multiple reasons, one of them being that you can put them in the floor facing up. So something like this is a perfect spot for charcoal. So if we come over here and put a piece of charcoal in this, we can see we get a whole stack in there. But if we double right click, yeah, now we have 14 stacks in there, and there's 15. Okay, how did I end up with a stack of coal? That must have been why it didn't take everything the first time. But so I believe these barrels will hold 32 stacks by default, and then we can upgrade them later. But there's a few things that I need to get these barrels for, especially things like the cobblestones and dirt, stuff like that, and it will really clean up the area, make it look a lot nicer. But we can also put logs into them, so we don't have to worry about having these massive log piles anymore. So if I come over here and place this down, I can take my acacia logs and put them in here. So that's pretty nice. It allows for much better storage because, yeah, what we have in here would have taken 5 blocks space, and it's not even close to full. So we have a lot of stuff that we can still do there. Now the other one was the Steve's Workshop. And this is really nice because these actually hold items and can be automated for production of crafting. So to build this, we need some planks, some smooth stone, or some regular raw stone. We need a blank upgrade, and then our steel saw. Now we could have done this with an iron saw too, yes, I know, but I skipped right over that. So this blank upgrade is a chisel, a hammer, 2 pieces of raw stone, 2 pieces of wood, or 2 planks. So we have quite a bit of planks here. We have tons and tons of raw stone laying around. And actually I think we're going to use the clay stone for this because this stuff is ugly. So I'm going to grab the quest book too. We might have a quest or 2 in here on Steve's Workshop. So we need, I guess we have a chisel, so we need to go like this, and the hammer, no, are you kidding? So there's the blank upgrades. think I'm going to make 5 of those right now. And then to make the production table, we need the planks across the top. Plank upgrade. And the saw. So there's our production table. Now if we take a look at this thing, if I can get the right thing here. So we can't do anything with this right away, but we can upgrade it. So what we need to do is make some crafting tables. So with 4 crafting tables, we can drop these into... No! It turned them into power. Really? Okay, but what we can do... Oh, that's why, because we have to turn these into Minecraft crafting tables first. So we can drop these in here, and you can see now all of the slots have opened up. And when we go back here to the main area, we now have 4 crafting grids. So now what we can do is go in here and we want extra storage. So these take a chest, a blank upgrade, and our steel saw again. So we'll come over here. I guess we still have chests in our inventory. But so we needed those, these, and our saw. Really? That should be a shapeless crafting thing. That's just stupid. So now we can take these upgrades and drop them into here. And when we go back to the main, now we have 6 extra slots for storage. And now what happens here is, well, here, let's just grab something. We'll grab some cobblestone. We'll turn that into the rocks. Alright. And so what we're going to do is we are going to craft it properly. And then we'll set all of our extra items down below. Now what it should do is pull the items from underneath. So yeah, we can craft the entire set into cobblestone, no issue. So this is going to come in really handy for various things, especially pre-planning crafts for videos, because I can lay items out in here and I don't have to worry about them jumping out of a crafting table or something like that. But the other thing is if I get something that I need frequently but I don't want to craft at all, I can lay out the recipe, fill in the space down below, and then whenever I need it, I can just come over and grab the item. So that's kind of nice. So that's a couple of uses for the steel saw. Now, this zombie is driving me nuts. Go away. So I also upgraded my sword because my bronze sword broke. So I now have a steel sword, which I believe will always one-shot a zombie. So that's kind of nice. While I was out getting the charcoal, I also got another zombie head. So I've got a lot of those. But I think the next thing for me to do is to make up a whole bunch of those better barrels so that we can get our storage kind of condensed down, made to look a little bit nicer. And then I will come back and we'll look at what else we have to do here today. Well, I have done a little bit of cleanup here. The area is looking a lot nicer. Moved all of my miscellaneous ore items over here. I've got the iron stuff down there, copper here, and then this is just kind of everything and anything. I have barrels for all of the different types of logs that I have, as well as clay balls, because I have a huge amount of those. I have a couple of barrels for ceramic vessels, and yeah, there's massive Z fighting that goes on here, and I don't know what causes that, but that's irrelevant. I have one for the graphite, one for the straw, and then I also got one for these guys. Because, well, yeah, I have, as you can tell, I have more than 32 stacks. Over here we have, how many more? Almost 7 more stacks of that cobblestone. And so there's tons of that. But now that I've got this reasonably well cleaned up, I kind of want to move on and try to work towards getting some of this stuff into automation. Now, the first step in automation is railcraft, as far as I can tell. And so I went ahead and looked in the quest book at the railcraft quest line. And our first thing is going to be step 1. We can have lots of fun. One of the first things you'll want to build in railcraft is a coke oven. This will allow you to automate charcoal and coal coke production. It will also provide creosote oil, which is important in crafting and for energy production. You can store creosote oil in TFC barrels. Just use glass bottles to transfer it. So we need 26 coke oven bricks. Now, I started doing a little bit of checking on this. The coke oven bricks take 4 fire bricks and 5 sand for 2 of the bricks. So that means we need 13 recipes of this. That means 52 fire bricks. Now, the fire bricks, you get 2 fire bricks from 4 fire clay. That means we are going to need 104 fire clay. Now, obviously, I do not have enough kaolinite to craft that many of these fire clay. So what I'm going to have to do now is head out here to the limestone area where I had the kaolinite and see if I can find some more again. Now, I know that there was quite a bit of it there, but I don't know for sure where it went to. But so I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to just set this stuff down here, clear my inventory out a little bit. And then I'm going to head out there and try to find those kaolinite areas. Hopefully there's a bunch of it there. And then I get the arduously boring task of sitting here with it in the corner. So yep, I am going to head out that way and get some limestone or some kaolinite, and then I will be back. Well, that's not good. No! Leave me alone! No! There. So, I've been out here looking for kaolinite being made into a pincushion, and I came across this stuff. Serpentine. Says it's decorative. I have no idea what this stuff is. So, yeah, do we have any uses on this? Okay, so we can grind it into serpentine powder. What's this stuff used for? Serpentine blocks. So this is from Terra Firma stuff. Okay. And these are just a green block by the looks of it. Interesting. Who's shooting at who? Nobody can shoot at me. What's wrong with you guys? But yeah, I can't seem to find any kaolinite. Oh, I got strontium here. Interesting. Okay, so I got serpentine and strontium. Wow. So yeah, I gotta wait for night to pass by, and then I will continue to search for this kaolinite wherever in the heck it may be. So, I will see you guys after a while. So at this point, I think we're ready to move on to a couple of different quests in the quest book. So, we were looking at the one for railcraft with the coke oven. So we need to make 26 of the coke oven bricks. Well, to do that, of course, I had to go out and get a whole bunch more kaolinite. I found a pretty good sized deposit. I only mined out about half of it. I was running out of food and running out of inventory space. So yeah, there's still quite a bit more out there, but it's a long ways away. Now another thing you may notice here, the bloomery and the blast furnace are missing, and that will be explained in just a little bit. So we need to make those coke oven bricks, and we've already seen this. We need a lot of fire bricks for this, and to make these fire bricks, we can fire them in a pit kiln, or we can run them through a steel furnace. So I've set up a recipe here for a steel furnace. That takes 6 steel sheets, which is 12 ingots of steel, a steel hammer, a steel chisel, and a crucible. So we're going to go ahead and make that, and then we have tons of fire clay available here. So we're going to go ahead and make a stack of that, and I know we're going to need more than that, but we'll take these and put them together. That's going to make 32 fire bricks. I'm going to set these down, set that down there, grab some charcoal, and we're going to set these to cooking. So that will greatly increase the efficiency of my ability to do things like this. Now I'm just going to grab another stack of clay, put that in here. Now this should be enough bricks, I believe. I think I've calculated it out correctly, and it looks like those only stack to 32s anyway. But that is going to take a little while to cook up. So in the meantime, I am also wanting to upgrade our blast furnace now from the TehNodeFirmaCraft version to the Railcraft version. So that's going to take the blast furnace brick, which takes 2 of the TehNodeFirmaCraft blast furnaces and 6 infernal bricks. Now these infernal bricks take fitted infernal stone with a chisel and a hammer, and this is just stone bricks around some gray dye. So I went out and got an ink sac and some bone meal that I have tons of. I have some bricks here. I'm going to go ahead and make those real quick. Then I am going to grab a wrought iron chisel instead of the steel chisel. Then we need these, and this will make the infernal bricks. Go ahead and drop this hammer back in here, and now we can take these infernal bricks and put them in here. Now we need the steel hammer on top, and then I've set up another recipe for a second TehNodeFirmaCraft blast furnace. Once again, wrought iron double sheets, very expensive, 32 ingots of iron there, and there we go, 34 blast furnace bricks. So that is really cool. I'm just going to go ahead and set all these tools up here, and like I said, this is going to take a little while, so we won't be able to get to that right away. But let's go ahead and take a look here. It looks like this is not going to be unlocked just yet, but we have everything here. So until we complete this one, we can't move forward. But for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to let that cook, and I'm going to set down this blast furnace here somewhere, and I suppose right here would be fine. So I am going to put this 1 block into the ground just to keep it a little bit lower. It doesn't have to be, but I'm going to keep it 1 block down, and I believe this is a hollow 3 by 3 by 4 is the way that this works. So there we go. There is the blast furnace. So now we can take a look at the recipes on this. We can take a hematite pile with charcoal and turn it straight into pig iron in 1278 ticks. Now 1278 ticks, I could do the math there. That's just a little over a minute for each one. Now it is going to take a huge amount of charcoal to run this through here. But so I want to try this. This used to be a thing that this half charcoal worked just as good as the regular charcoal. Now, I don't really know for sure, but I'm going to let that run too, and we'll get some pig iron out of that. And then later on we can figure out other methods for taking that pig iron and turning it into steel. So for right now, I have a little bit of stuff that I'm waiting on. This pig iron, got a few more fire bricks, so I will be back as soon as this stuff is ready to go. So a couple of things here. First off, I found out that this full-sized charcoal will not go into the blast furnace, so we have to use the half charcoal, and it takes 4 of these half charcoal to make 1 pig iron ingot, which means that 1 stack of half charcoal will process 1 stack of ore piles. So pretty simple, not a lot of math involved there. So now this furnace is finished with what it was doing, and actually I'm going to drop that charcoal back off there. And I have the stuff here for the coke oven bricks. Now we need 26 of these, and I don't know how many I have set up here. So we're just going to go a little at a time here. So I made 4 bricks more than I needed to. But let's go ahead and check the quest book. So we had this one. Next was charcoal briquettes. The coke oven will produce 1 charcoal fragment per log. Well, I'm not going to run these through the coke oven. You can craft these into TFC charcoal or use them directly as fuel in many machines. Okay, that was strange. What was that noise? That was a dark cave sound. I usually don't get that on the surface. Where was that coming from? Oh, I'll bet it's from the inside of this thing. Oh, I didn't even think of that. Okay, well, anyway, so we finally have coal coke. Coke ovens can make coke. Who knew? You'll literally want this for your improved blast furnace. So let's go ahead and set down this guy, which this is a 3x3. We're just going to break that. This is a 3x3x3 hollow block. So this will be exactly the same height as the blast furnace when I do it like this, and there we go. So now we want to place, I think, a little bit of coal into this thing, and it will make some creosote and a piece of coal coke. So we can get that. We have these guys running through. I'm just going to be placing these on the ground over here for now, because here in a little bit I think we are going to be getting even further into Railcraft and get the rolling machine. Now the rolling machine will allow us to use power to turn these into the high carbon steel and then into regular steel ingots. So I'm really looking forward to that, but I'm not sure what we're going to use for power. Now I do know, in looking at the quest book, that we have we have an unclaimed reward in the Iron Age. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a look at that here in just a little bit. But in the forestry section, we have 2 power producing engines here, and this peak power one is something that I think we're going to be doing very quickly. And when I look at the map, I found this, and I couldn't hardly believe it when I found it. Let me see if I can locate it again. Right here. Okay, so I had a spot marked here for peat. What I didn't realize is this big huge circle here, this is all peat. There's this big huge section here, there's a big huge one here. There is tons of peat down here. So that's probably what we're going to use for power for a little while. But there we go, we have our coal coke. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this Iron Age one is. The steel furnace, of course, that makes sense. So now that you can make steel, you can make a furnace to handle tasks like making glass, charcoal, firing clay, etc. So this is going to give us 8 bottles of enchanting, and then either 64 charcoal or 16 magnetite. I think right now we're going to take the charcoal. Why not? So where have I been putting the bottles of enchanting? In here. And we have some charcoal. Alright. So now let's go ahead and take a look at what we still need for this coal coke. Too much creosote. A liquid disposer? Well, eventually you'll hit the point of too much creosote. So before you complain, I'll tell you about this handy tool. The item 1 is handy too. What? The item 1 is handy too. Okay, gotcha. So we need a liquid disposer. Okay. So let's take a look at this. So the liquid disposer is an incinerator and a wooden bucket. An incinerator is a flint and steel and some cobblestone. Okay, well that's pretty simple. So let's go ahead and grab 1 wrought iron ingot. We will grab 1 piece of flint. We need some cobblestone. I want it to be the schist cobblestone so that we can have some of this ugly stuff used. Whoops. Don't throw the coal coke. And then finally we are going to need a wooden bucket. There we go. So we should have everything for this. We need a flint and steel. We need that inside of a ring of cobblestone. And then we need to combine that with a bucket. There we go. Liquid disposer. That's a pretty simple one. So this is going to give us 8 of the mini charcoal and 4 coal coke. Let's go ahead and take that. And already we have this one completed, automating steel. So let's take a look at this. Automating steel. Slowly. Tired of pumping those bellows? Well, it is time to move up to the Railcraft blast furnace and make the push to black steel. This furnace can't process everything, but don't worry, it can be upgraded later. So this is going to give us 8 of the coal coke again. So let's go ahead and take that. And we're ready for rolling. Keep the, no, sorry, I won't sing. Alright, so you're gonna love it. The rolling machine is going to be your new best friend. Anvil recipes, automation of ore piles, and more. What? It can't process everything, but it is something you'll always have around and use. Seriously, make it already! Alright, so we need to make our rolling machine. Now, if we take a look at the rolling machine, we actually have everything that we need to make this, as long as we just make it. So we need 4 steel plates, which is going to be 8 steel ingots. We need a regular steel hammer, and then we need 4 pistons. Now, the redstone, I have not been showing this, but I have gotten 4 pieces of redstone from killing spiders. So yes, spiders occasionally drop redstone. Now, even if that weren't the case, we do have some cinnabar down here that I could... Where is that? Down here. So I could go down here and get that, but I want to wait until we have mechanism for that, because I think we can get 12 redstone out of each ore at that point. So I have a little bit of regular smithing to do to turn this pig iron into steel, and then the steel into steel sheets, correct? Yeah, so I need to make some steel sheets. Need a couple more pieces of pig iron. So, yep, I need 8 of these. Gonna go ahead and make those steel sheets, and then I'll be back after a little bit when I have this done. Well, to continue forward, I need to get more redstone. So I came over here to where that cinnabar was and started checking around, and it would appear that the cinnabar is mixed into a vein of copper. So if I take my Pro Pick and hit this here, I get a very large sample of cinnabar, and somewhere, very large sample of native copper. So apparently these are intermingled, but on top of that, this copper is poor. So it almost seems like a waste of time to mine this copper. Now the nice part is I can turn these into copper piles, so at least I will be able to work with them easily. But there is a lot of mining of crappy copper, and I have not found any cinnabar yet. So I'm going to have to dig around here for a while and hope that I can find that cinnabar, because my gosh, this is ridiculous. Now, I did hear a cave down here. I could hear zombies groaning, so I've got to be careful how deep I go here, because I could very easily cause a collapse in that cave. But you can see I'm going quite deep in an attempt to find this cinnabar, and and there is the sound of the cave. But I do know that cinnabar spawns in vertical veins. So there is a good possibility that when I find it, I will find a whole bunch of it in one downward motion, and then there won't be any more. So I don't know for sure what I'm going to come across, but I'm going to keep digging. Hopefully I get that redstone so that we can continue on with our tech. Well, I found one, and it is bordered on at least two sides with copper. So yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It's intermingled into this copper vein. That's going to make it kind of a pain in the butt to find any of that cinnabar. Oh, there's another one. In case it's got some that's spread out. So I guess I'll just mine here for a little while. I can always use the copper for later on. So, more digging. Oh my gosh. Hot tier 4. Can weld. Very hot. Danger. Oh my god. Who came up with those ideas? That is more than a little bit ridiculous. There we go, tin sheet. That's what I needed. So, and in that time the copper melted. Of all the crap! Okay, let's get these put together. So, I need to make the clockwork engine. And to do that, I need some tin bushings and a copper double sheet. So that's what I'm working on here right now. So we need a clock, we need a piston, and this copper gear. We need a chisel, glass, hammer, and planks. Now we have everything here already set up except for the gear. So we have our piston here, we have our clock, and we have our rolling machine set up as well. So we've got most everything there already. Now to make the gear, what we need is to make these tin bushings. Now the tin bushings are made with a hammer, and I believe we have to have at least a bronze chisel here, but wrought iron? Yeah, maybe it has to be wrought iron. But we have everything that we need for that. So let's go ahead and grab our hammer out of here real quick. And we don't have, well, here, let's clear this one out. I don't need that one set up anymore. So we need our hammer, we need a chisel, and we need the tin sheet. Now, what's the proper sequencing for that? There we go. So two tin gear bushings, and actually those will go on either side of it. And we are almost to the point of where we can weld these together. So let's go ahead and drop our hammer back in there. We're going to have to make ourselves a new iron hammer here pretty soon, or possibly even a steel one, since we have steel available to us now. And I just realized I need to get this copper sheet heating back up. And we're out of fuel. So let's throw a little extra fuel into there. That does not help any, so we'll let it get right to orange. Come on, there we go. So we can now quickly weld these together, turn this into a sheet. this in here, and we'll keep a very close eye on both of these because we don't want to melt them and lose our progress. So we don't want to go anything past orange on this guy. So I'm going to pull him out for a little bit and let this one kind of catch up a little bit. So this one's going to cool back down, and I just need to kind of watch them to keep to where when I drop this one in, they're both at the same point, which looks like is going to be right at bright red tier 1. So right there, that should be close enough that now they will, well, maybe not. But they're really close to the same temperature now. And so when they both hit orange, we'll be able to weld these two together, and that will give us everything that we need for the gear. So come on, we're at can weld. Give it one more tick. Orange, orange, there we go. So we will quickly weld these together. There we go. So now I like to cool these down just simply because, I don't know, just seems like a good idea. But now we need to put this in here, and we just need the hammer. So there we go. There's our copper gears. We're going to go ahead and make the rolling machine. We have our copper gears, we have our clock now, and we have a piston. So now we just need a little bit of glass, which, where did I have the glass? I know I had some. I just can't remember where. There we go. So one piece of glass and some planks. So we'll go ahead and use this recipe here. Glass, we need the clock, gear, piston, and then we need the chisel on that side, hammer on that one, and there we go, clockwork engine. Alright, so let's check out the quest book. We should have a couple of these done now. 2 quests with unclaimed rewards. So into forestry. What time is it, Mr. Wolf? If it doesn't hurt, you aren't doing it right. You'll need to sort out some power to run your first machines. Maybe people power is your best choice. Just right-click the engine to charge it up. Careful, it may hurt. So we needed to make the clockwork engine. This is going to give us a clock. I don't want a clock. Whatever. So we can get some other stuff here now, but what? Why is there environment? I think they have the wrong picture there. That should be the other one, the bio. I can't remember. But we now have our rolling machine, so we can claim this. This is going to give us 4 magnetite ore piles. Nice. I crush your head. Diamonds? Really? Yep, so to make the rock crusher, we are going to have to find diamonds first. So we're not going to be able to get to that for a while. Now, for now, I'm just going to set this rolling machine down here. We're going to set our clockwork engine here. And I think we need a redstone signal to make that work. So we'll grab a rock and a stick, make a lever, put down the redstone. Oh. Well, maybe we don't have to click on this. So with a supplied redstone signal. Okay, so it's gonna run for a little while. Okay, come on. Orange. So the more we click it, the more it puts out. Interesting. Alright, so let's grab a pig iron ingot and toss it in here. And this will make a high carbon steel. Now that's going to drain the power quite rapidly. But we are getting it back too. So let's go ahead and take it up to red and really generate that power. I actually like that engine. That's kind of nice. So when we're just about full of power, we're going to go ahead and click to craft. Once again, same thing. This is going to turn that into a steel ingot. So that is really nice. So I now have the ability to make my ingots, my pig iron, or well, I guess to make my steel without ever touching the forge or the anvil. Nice. I just need to periodically charge this guy up. And yeah, that works wonderful. So I guess I'll make a little bit of steel here. And I'll check on how the length of the episode is doing. And I will be back in a little bit. So something I have found out about these clockwork engines is that they do not need a redstone signal to operate. So if we take this high carbon steel and put it in here, it will immediately start drawing power off of the engines, and they push that power into the rolling machine. And also, with two of them, we are producing as much power as we are using, which is kind of nice. But yeah, it's just like a clock, so you wind it up, and then you have some power for a little while. Pretty simple, pretty nice. But I am going to say thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to give a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. If you enjoyed this longer episode, be sure to let me know down in the comments. If there's anything you would like to see me working on, be sure to leave that down in the comments as well. And I'll see you next time. Bye.